wherever you're at in life right now, know that there is someone else who has either been there, is there, or is even trying to get there. You're not alone. You don't have to do all of it by yourself. And it just makes life feel a little less hard. It was being able to share a language I only thought I knew with other women. For so long, I felt like I was speaking in a way that nobody could understand me, but they could only make comments or other me because of it. And it isolated me and it felt really lonely. But the first thing that comes to mind is community. It's all about the reinforcement that you are not alone, you will never be alone, and you are not so different that no one else will ever be able to understand you. I just had a Moai call yesterday, and for the entirety of the hour and 45 minutes, we didn't talk about food. We talked about life. It gives me chills to think about that, where there was space to be vulnerable. There was space to be angry. There was space to be confused. All the space was held with no making of you as like some sort of somebody who's getting it wrong. The most gorgeous thing about developing your own self-compassion through this group is the fact that you are also absorbing the compassion of so many other people around you, people who love you, who listen to you, and you see how possible that is for another person to do for you, that then it's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And if I can do it for them, then I can do it for me. We're in it together and we're walking together, and our directions may be different, but the energy will always be around us. I was feeling really lonely. There were narratives that were going on in my head about my health, about food, that then became a fear and was really stopping me from living life openly, fully, and in my own power. When I saw all of the prompting questions for Reconnect Academy, are you feeling this way? Have you ever thought this way? Have you ever worried about this? I was nodding my head like, yes, this is me. And it immediately comforted me to see that and be like, oh, I'm not alone in these thoughts. These questions are not just ones I'm asking myself. If somebody else is asking these questions, that must mean they've asked those questions before. We live life talking to ourselves, thinking and overthinking and analyzing all, and it all is inside. We come up against challenges, we come up against triumphs and traumas, and it's hard and it can be overwhelming, but this doesn't have to feel overwhelming. The subject matter I had read before, I had known about before, I had, even explored for myself, yet without any sort of structure and any sort of accountability. And going through this, having my Moai calls, meeting with the group, having to share, speaking with you, it kept me accountable to really see myself and to take time, like actual intentional time, to sit down, to clear out, and to go through this journey for myself. It's very, very easy to have little snippets interwoven into your regular everyday life and be like, okay, I'm just going to do a guided meditation today every 15 days or something, or I'm going to read this chapter from a book, or I'm going to say some nice things to myself in the mirror. This was like, no, you need to stay accountable to yourself. First, I thought coming in was that food was my fear. And there was a level of uncertainty. Are these things going to work? They didn't work in the past. I don't know. Am I ever going to be normal? But then also balancing that with, I love my food philosophy. How can I make that healthy for myself? Well, I have to understand where the fear comes from. And through the process of these 3 months, I realized oh, food isn't the fear. Food is just, it's there. My fear was actually related to something so different that I just used food as the easiest coping mechanism to deal with. It finally shifted this fact that, like, food was the only way I could nourish myself. It was the only way I could make myself healthier. It was the only thing I could give myself. And Reconnect Academy showed me there's so many ways you can nourish yourself. Food isn't the only thing. And how freeing and opening and inviting does that feel, to realize that you have this whole set of watercolors to paint with instead of just one color that you're like constantly making strokes with. If we're not talking about food, if we're not talking about health or anything, your life is so much grander than these fears that you have. Every day, things are going to come up, and that's okay. Fears will come up, anxieties will come up, disappointments will come up, but you're going to be okay. And you will be okay. And if you ever need a reminder of that, you have a community of people. You are powerful, and you are someone who is going to be penning your story for the rest of your life. But as you do that, you're not alone. In full honesty, it is an investment, but it's not just an investment of money. It's an investment of time, effort, and it's an investment of heart, emotions, and well being. Sit with yourself and ask, can I show up? Because you will be held accountable. And that accountability is actually what's going to aid your transformation through this process the most. So, more than the payment, how invested are you to find the time to sit through, to sift through, and really feel these feelings that may not be the most comfortable, but may provide the best answers? And if you're willing to do that, then all the other investments, all the more logistic things, they'll fall into place. You'll find a way.